There's this grandma, and she actually plays it, and it's pretty great.
Oh, she's the YouTuber.
Yeah.
She calls her audience grandchildren. She's like, all right, grandchildren.
Oh, the grandma that plays Skyrim?
Yeah. She has over 100,000 subscribers.
So that's your perfect kind of game is
Perfect
Skyrim.
woman.
I mean, and this is kind of perfect woman.
Alright, welcome everyone to an All Chat Gaming podcast. We're the Odd Man Out. We're here with
Tanner,
Keefan,
Ryan,
Zach,
and Nick.
So we have a special guest, Zach. I've talked about him multiple times. He was like my best friend since 5th grade, so all growing up.
and now they're enemies.
Yep, and that's why he's here.
That's why Ryan's in between them, because he's the bouncer. He's got to protect.
He's the one I
He's
play
the
like,
moderator.
Whenever you hear me talk about like Age of Empires and playing it, it's pretty much because I'm playing with Zach. There might be other people involved as well, but it's pretty much always Zach is there too.
Yeah.
And all the Halo times or like pretty much any gaming experience I have as a kid is probably with Zach.
Sounds about right.
So he's here, and we're excited to have him. So we're going to skip what we played this week. Like we said, we were going to switch it up, and we're going to go straight into gaming news. So what do you got, Tammy?
Okay, the first thing I gotta say is Overcooked 2 came out. And it came out at a really good time because me and my wife, we were streaming the first Overcooked just for a few weeks. So we didn't get into Overcooked, and then we did, and then we beat it, and then the sequel came
Thanks to
immediately
me.
out. Yeah, actually, thanks to Keefan. So
technically, thanks to Achievement Hunter, really.
Okay, so yeah, so literally we've been saturated with Overcooked, and we're going to be, and then once it's over, it's going to feel kind of, I don't know what we'll do. But okay, so a couple things on it is that it has mostly gotten good reviews, but there are some issues. Keevan, have you played it yet?
No, but I've seen it, so I have some pretty good idea of what it's like.
What?
You can like throw food,
Yeah.
and their levels will dynamically change throughout some of them.
You can throw food now?
Yeah. So like oftentimes like I have to grab the rice and then I have to like toss it over the counter into the pot so it'll start cooking.
Or to the other person, so
or
they can put it in.
or to the other person. But then if you can get it straight into the pot, then the other person can be doing their thing.
Alley-oop the rice.
Yeah, quite literally.
LeBron James.
It's Kobe. It's Kobe. LeBron James can't shoot.
I think a lot of
I
people
guess
think
not.
different.
Well, I wouldn't know. I don't follow basketball.
Actually, shooting percentage wise, he's lower on the spectrum for all stars. So.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Still has more money than I'll ever make. So.
Yep. So the levels are as creative as ever. Have not been disappointed. There are a few issues. One update is that you can play online. Online multiplayer.
Could you not in the first one?
Nope. But the issue here is that you have a host, and only that host progresses through the story. So you can bring other people on to help you progress through your story, and you can get you can unlock new characters, but everyone else playing doesn't progress, doesn't get the experience, can't get new characters. It's a big problem.
That makes no sense.
It's probably the biggest issue most people have had. It makes a little bit of sense when you consider that, let's say in your campaign, you're only to level 5, but then someone who's to level 20 invites you to play. It's not like you can start progressing from level 20 and like skip all the ones before.
Yeah, that's fair.
So right now, when you do play multiplayer and you're not the host, you have to understand that you're literally just playing for fun and on someone else's campaign.
So that's a little bit frustrating because like they could have done that a little differently. Like Ultimate Chicken Horse, even, which I would say is probably a much lower budget game, has an online place, and like you might not unlock the same thing. So I played online with some random people at one point, and I could still like find weird little care packages like in the levels that would unlock things for me. So like each person might get something different, but each person could get it and unlock something. Like they could have done something like that where it's like you at least get some progression on your level. Like even if it's just like experience, or I don't know how they're doing it.
Well,
it's kind of weird to me that they wouldn't do that.
There's not too many rewards other than the characters. And I don't know why. Like if they're playing, they could easily unlock characters. Like
Yeah, that should be easy.
They can easily fix that in the game code. But for the logistics of progressing through the game, it would be weird if you played one level and then someone who's at the very last level brings you in, and then on your campaign, you're to the last level already. So that, I understand the issue. I don't know how they're going to fix that, or if they are going to. I would hope that they do something so that if you aren't a host, you can at least still get something for the time that you put into it. But either way, I still enjoy it a lot. It's I'd still recommend it. And so yeah, that's Overcooked 2. What else we got?
All right, so Sea of Thieves just had a new campaign / DLC release, I guess.
Yeah, it did.
Cursed Sails just came out. So it adds a few different things. One thing it adds is the 3-person boat, which I think was much needed because it adds another dynamic to the game. I know it added a couple other things I can't think of off the top of my head, besides the fact that there are skeleton crews now with their ships, and they have like special cannonballs that will shoot at you. So some of them will make you dance, or some of them will make you drunk, or some of them will do different things, and then you have to try to take them down. So Ryan and I actually played a little of it. And it's hard. We fought the drunk grog ship, and so getting drunk in that game is really hard to even do anything, which I do every time. So you think I'd be well versed in it?
Being drunk in real life is actually easy. So as opposed to Sea of Thieves,
because you're not like woo, the best.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, that's fair. So yeah, anyways, it was really hard. I'm hoping that once the campaign part of it finishes, and then they add it into the world, I'm hoping they add like a different levels of these ships, like some that are easier than others. That way, like if you're not caught up in like an hour-long battle, I don't think it's that long. That might be over dramatic, but
we were fighting those ships for quite a long time.
Yeah, but also we had 2 people on a 3-person ship. And we would consistently jump over to their ship, steal cannonballs, and get more because we never prepared well enough.
Nice.
And then at one point, I stole a treasure chest. Our ship sunk. I died. He was alive. He grabbed the treasure chest out of our sinking ship. I got a new ship and came and saved him on a rock that was trying to buy sharks. And we got the treasure. So that was pretty epic. But they're really hard. So I'm hoping that once they just release into the world, that there's a lot more of them, because I think it would add more to the game. Because it's still it's still iffy with how much there is to do. So I think it would be cool if they had some that were easier, some that were harder, and then they could just sail around. So you could have some mini boss battles / just fights that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, even with 3 people, I feel like those drunk cannonballs, that made it so hard because you can't repair your ship at all.
Because you're
there is a cannonball that makes it so. Is there a cannonball that makes it so you can't repair your ship?
I don't think so.
Well,
there might be.
That one's probably as close as it's gonna get because, you're moving around, you're swaying, and so you try to. I tried to put myself in a corner once so he didn't hold him there while I was repairing, and I got so close once, but then he just tilted the other way because of how drunk he was. And then plus when your ship is filling up with water, you grab a bucket, right, to get the water out, but then you're throwing up, and so you'll accidentally throw up into the bucket. And so when you go to pick up water, you actually end up throwing your barf into the ship, and then
it's definitely hard, and I think it would be fun if we a big crew would also be really fun. A couple of ships with friends could make it even more fun. So it's definitely fun, but I think if they were to add a couple changes to it before they actually got out of the campaign section of it, because there is a whole treasure thing you can follow, a whole campaign where you go island to island. We spawned and found it immediately on accident. We didn't go through any of the campaign stuff where you would go from ship to ship trying to figure out the treasure clues. We just spawned, we're going, and then we found it.
Mm-hmm.
And we somehow made our way back to it every time, even though the first few times we were idiots and didn't mark where we were. Somehow we were able to find our way back every time. So it was interesting, it was fun, and I hope they do more things like that, but make them more less time consuming and more just like it happens to happen, and like some of them are easier than others. But that's the only news I have for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, well, from what I understand, one of the critiques that they had about Sea of Thieves originally was that it was too easy. So it sounds to me like they're probably trying to address
No,
that.
that's not the case anymore.
Well, like the Megalodon was
At least when
hard.
it first came out, that's what I heard a lot about.
And that might be partially fair. I feel like they need to have the mid as well. Like you can play it easy if you want. You can go to the hard things if you want, but they don't really have like a very good mid range of like things you could just be like us just going, and then a skeleton crew just comes up, and it's one that's like not like super tough, but like not easy either. And it's good enough to where you could take them down realistically within like a 10-minute period instead of just like forever long fight.
Yeah,
Like I think that they should add like the mid thing, and I think that would also add way more content. So that would be my only thing is like I think that they tried to do like the huge boss battles a lot. That's what they did with Megalodon as well. And I feel like they need to kind of add something that's just a little bit more like free flowy, less super easy, but also not super hard.
Oh, and after we sunk the one ship that we were able to sink, another two popped up.
Oh yeah. That also might have been the fault because I know they spawn according to like the time you're around the area, and also another ship came around and they weren't there at the same time as us. So I'm wondering if they also caused another one to spawn because we did sink one, but we weren't able to get over to take their treasure because right at the end there was two more and we had to try to steer while he was trying to fight, and it was a whole thing.
All
It
right.
was pretty fun though. But yeah, that's all I got.
Cool.
So the drunk ship was hard to fight. Huh?
Yes.
You could say you got hammered by it.
I could. All right, Nick, what's your news?
They got wasted to buy that ship.
Boo.
Okay, I'm done. All right. So I have Switch news as I always do every single week because that's all I talk about is the Nintendo.
Good, because
Switch.
I will never know. I'll never know any Switch news.
But this is bigger news.
Neither will
So
I.
this is news that we'll all like probably. So Nintendo just had a direct, which is like a presentation about their upcoming games and stuff for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the most anticipated game of this year for me.
I might even pre-order it.
Yeah, I might pre-order it too, just because the physical copies are probably going to go like.
Oh, and 4 of 5 people have a Switch here.
Oh, nice. Tanner, you need one.
You want to buy me one?
No.
I'm currently taking donations. So.
I'm sure you are. How about you use that credit card that you need points on, huh?
Yeah, that's true. Is that a throwdown? Use that credit card. Oh!
So we'll split it between you guys and you'll have like a fight and the camera view will split.
You want to fight me in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? Oh, wait, you don't have a Switch, so...
I'll just come over to your place.
That's
That's how I've never owned any Super Smash Bros. Except for the original 64 one.
Right.
I didn't even
And
know
I've
one.
still managed to be really good at the game. So, I think I'll be just fine.
Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, so they had this direct, and Nintendo likes to have their own special presentations because they're Nintendo and they do everything their own way. And this was a jam-packed direct. Like, there was a lot of info here. They announced technically they announced 5 new characters, but 3 of them are what they call Echo Fighters, which are what they're calling clones now.
And they killed someone, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
After this commercial break.
No.
Just kidding.
Sponsored
Keep
by
going.
Volvo.
We don't get commercials.
We don't.
We're not good enough for that.
I could throw in some fake ones.
I'd actually love to make
We should go film like a weird little commercial right after, just like some dumb joke.
Do you hate your cat?
Alright.
Buy the
Keep going
exclusive
with your
Ryan
news.
now.
Buy the exclusive Cat Be Gone. I don't know.
Spray.
Spray. Which is just a water bottle with spray in it. Because literally that's all you need to do
Or
to
a
get a cat to go
flamethrower.
away.
Wow.
All right.
That just went quickly.
All right, that took it somewhere. Okay, back to Smash Brothers. So the direct started with a character announcement, which was Simon Belmont from Castlevania. Spoiler alert. I mean, it's been out on the internet for like a week now. So
I don't know who that is.
Well, we're too young to know.
Have you
what
never
that
played
is.
Castlevania?
So,
No, why would I play that? It's an old game. I don't care about old games.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
it was pretty iconic.
yeah,
so-
Castlevania was a very iconic game on the NES and the SNES.
I've heard his name. That counts
Yeah.
for anything. I haven't heard of the other person.
I played it on Game Boy.
Who was the other one you said earlier?
Games.
Well, I'll just go through. So Simon Belmont, and then his Echo Fighter was announced, which is Richter Belmont. I don't know who that is. I guess he was in one of the Castlevania games. Then we got Crumb from Fire Emblem announced as an Echo Fighter of Roy and Ike. So he's kind of a mix up between the two. Then we got Dark Samus, which I think is awesome.
I love Samus. It's like my favorite character, so I'll be... Yeah. As long as it's not like Zero Suit Samus, who I hated.
It's Dark Samus in the suit.
Question. Echo Fighters. Is it just like the same character with...
It's like...
Is it just like a skin?
No, it's like, you know how Ganondorf and Captain Falcon were kind of similar and still are? That's what an Echo Fighter is, essentially.
Oh.
Ganondorf is his own character now, but, he was always. But they're calling these Echo Fighters, like, what clones used to be called. The Smash community just used to call them clones. It was an unofficial name for them. Like, Roy and Marth were clones.
So they pretty much have, like, the same moves, but different.
They have same moves, but they're a little tweaked. They're a little different.
Lucas and Ness.
Lucas and Ness. But yeah, they're called Echo Fighters. Now, Daisy is going to be Peach's Echo Fighter. So
and Waluigi won't have a clone.
And Waluigi won't be in the game except as an assist trophy. So sad day for
That's
Waluigi.
Unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
Is it?
I would have loved to hear that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It would have been.
It's kind of the meme right now in the Smash community. Like every time they announce a Smash update, they're like, "Where's Waluigi?" You know, and it's not like Sakurai has put like 70 characters into this game, but that's the creator of the Smash series. His name is Sakurai.
Better Snake than Waluigi.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's still sad.
But if they're adding this many, why not add one that's in demand?
I don't know. DLC will probably happen
because they want.
I'm sure it will.
Community's always going to demand what's not there.
Yeah, like Waluigi's going to be put in, then they're going to be like, "Oh, where's Birdo?" Or Toadette.
Wait, has Waluigi ever been in any of the games before? Well, they never even promised Waluigi. They only promised they'd have every other character and then add a few new ones. So,
I don't know.
Don't they have like Baby Bowser or
Bowser Jr.? Yeah.
Bowser Jr.
He's been in it for a while.
I know, but still, like him. I mean, Waluigi's more known than.
Yeah, but Baby Bowser's cuter, so.
Yeah, but wow,
I don't know. Waluigi's pretty.
He's pretty hot, though. I mean, hot. That's not what I said.
All right.
Moving on. So then the last character that was announced was King K. Rool.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
He's a Donkey Kong
villain. Donkey Kong character villain from like the early.
From Donkey Kong 64
Donkey Kong game in my life.
And I guess the old Donkey Kong Country games probably had him in it. So, but yeah, he was a highly requested character. One of my favorite moves is he has a counter. Ryan loves counters. And his counter is he belly bumps them with his huge belly. And it's hilarious. And I'm looking forward to playing this character.
Like a tanky character with a counter.
Yeah. And a projectile. He can throw his crown. Most tanky characters don't have projectiles, so...
Oh, I actually have some bad news, Ryan. They actually aren't going to be adding Cloud in this one.
They will.
I know. I was trying to get you to cry.
No, I've already seen him.
The thing of Smash Ultimate, it has every character from every game in it. So yeah. But there's more stuff in the direct, not just the characters. Character announcements are fun, but there's a lot of other cool announcements.
Here's our commercial break. Well, thanks for staying tuned. Who died, Nick?
Okay, well, so in the Castlevania announcement, Simon Belmont announcement, Luigi was killed by death himself. So...
His soul was taken out, and then he tried to go back in, and he couldn't do it.
And that's another meme that's been happening is, so in the Ridley announcement, Mario got killed by Ridley. So Mario and Luigi are both dead now. So
who's Ridley?
Samus main villain.
I never played any Samus games.
I have no idea what's
going on. It's like Samus's arch nemesis. So
just assume any of those games, I never played them because I couldn't.
Ryan, why are you so lost?
I'm so confused.
Well, they do like little cinematic announcements for new characters for Smash.
Right.
And in Simon Belmont's, it started with Luigi running around the castle like he was from Luigi's Mansion. He had his vacuum and everything. And then Death from Castlevania just came and killed him, just out of the blue.
Really?
Well, he was running scared, like terrified. Yeah. He falls down, looks up, and sees the Grim Reaper or Death. Yeah. And then
he just takes the scythe and goes... takes his soul. Yeah.
And then he tries to go back in, and some creepy character looks in the window.
And in the Ridley announcement, they were walking through some... I don't know, spaceship thing, and then Ridley took Mario and just stabbed him through the heart with his tail.
And it was really graphic, actually. There was a lot of blood.
It wasn't graphic, but it was pretty intense, actually. Oh, and Mega Man also died, and I think somebody else, I can't remember.
Jeez.
Why kill them? Why
I don't know.
So some people are thinking...
It's just a character announcement.
Well, some people think it could be part of an actual Smash Bros. Campaign.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where you might have to rescue them.
Yeah, that's another thing to mention. So they showed the menu screen.
That could be cool.
in the direct, and there's a blurred out mode. It showed like the Smash mode and then like the games mode and the settings and all that, but then there was a blurred out mode that we couldn't see.
So if they have a campaign, that would be
like
the real
probably
first time.
mode.
Yeah,
Because they've had their fake campaigns.
they had
They've
the
had fun with
brawl
it, but
one. Yeah,
they were never really campaigns with a
Yeah.
story. And if they do, and it has any kind of multiplayer, guarantee you we'll play it
oh, we'll play it.
for the channel.
And we're gonna
Well,
play it
Even
a lot
if it doesn't
anyway, but-
play it.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
wouldn't argue that Brawl did have like it wasn't a fake campaign.
Yeah, it was a full story. Yeah.
It just
It was a long one too.
No one talked too. Like that's hard to pull
was
off.
Everything was all implied, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But that was the one where you just go through levels, though, right?
No.
And then you get to the
No,
master
that was
hand.
Melee.
There were cinematics.
The Brawl was what they called it
Fair.
Subspace Emissary, where like these weird robot machines were rising up, and then all the characters were getting turned into trophies. And
And then
But
I
what-
might not have ever played that.
But what if you could make a little RPG-ish campaign?
I don't think
where,
they'll do that.
where it's not just 2D side
well,
scrolling.
they
But if they have a real story,
kind of
that'd
did
be
that
cool.
in 4, but not really. There was this mode called Smash Run on the 3DS version, where you'd collect power ups to make your character more powerful, like have better jump, have better speed, have stronger attacks. But it wasn't a campaign. It was just a dumb little minigame that people didn't like that much. So maybe they're going to mix it all together and give the Brawl story with Smash Run's RPG elements and then a real Smash story. Wow, that'd be crazy. But let's see. What else was announced? There's over 103 stages in the game, as opposed to Smash 4, is the last game, which had 50.
Wow, so they're doubling it.
So they doubled it.
Cow. And we'll still only play Final Destination.
No, whatever.
Ignore all the other ones.
What's the one I like? Big Battleground or whatever it is?
That big Battlefield.
Yeah, it's the best one in the game.
And every
and Zelda's Temple.
yeah, that
That's
one.
the real best
But
one.
they also
really good
said that every stage now has an Omega form and a Battlefield form.
Don't know what that
Omega
meant.
form is a Final Destination form,
Yeah, gross. That's
and
the
then
worst.
Battlefield form is a
Yay.
Battlefield form.
I wish they would
So-
get rid of that because then I wouldn't
No.
have to play it anymore. I freaking hate that. I like
You
it when
don't
there's actually like
have to
levels
play
for
it.
things. I do. That's all they want to always play. But no one ever wants to play where you have levels unless you play the one temple level, and that was actually just
Well,
bad.
you'll be excited to know about this feature.
That's
they're
a terrible level.
They're adding a feature called Stage Morph, where it switches into a different stage in the middle of the fight.
Oh, I don't like that actually. No,
What? How would you not like?
I don't
that?
like moving levels. I don't like.
Well, it moves. It just switches to a different stage. Like you could have 2 static stages, and it just ends up more.
Oh, okay, that might be better because I
But-
do not like the moving levels
Yeah.
because I suck at them.
But there are some moving.
Because like
I'm so bad.
because you'll be there and then it'll move and then you'll just be like it'll be taken out from under you. You just
Well, it's
fall
because
down
I
and die.
never know the levels well enough because I never play them enough, and everyone else does. So everyone's like starts getting ready, they're jumping, and I'm like,
Where do I go?
and then I'm like, or so we're charging something, like I'm gonna get you, and then all of a sudden the level starts to go up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm too far behind, and I die. So
Yeah. Well.
the only time I was ever like really like I don't know, Zach, you had an emulator of which one?
Just the N64.
So yeah, like that one I knew decently well. We played that a few times.
Yeah.
that was pretty fun. We played the Zelda level a lot.
Yeah,
They brought those stages back. Yeah, they did.
They brought
In the
what
new one.
back?
They brought in those stages back in the new one. The N64, the original N64 stages.
Will they be like?
Okay.
Will they look just like it? Like
Yeah,
it's
they're
not
gonna be
remastered.
great.
Well-
like, so yeah, you have these good-looking characters on like this really crappy Hyrule
Well,
temple.
yeah, I think they are going to have.
That's very
originals.
Nintendo.
that would be super awesome.
Yeah.
I want.
They have done HD remasters of the other stages too, though. Like some of the Melee stages got or HD updates and things like that. I'm going to show you guys some screenshots after this. It looks pretty good.
Okay.
Was that the only Smash Bros. You played?
Yeah, basically that was the only one I really played. I did play a little bit of Melee, I think, or Brawl, one of those. With I think I played it at your house a few times, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Are you
really
gonna
play too
get the
much.
new one?
Yes, definitely.
Nice.
And if it has a story, I'm all over that because I am all about single player story games. So
Nice. Nice.
Life must suck right now then for you.
it does, yeah. Not many of those coming out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't have PlayStation 4, so I can't get God of War, but
Feels bad.
Or
Zero
Horizon,
or Horizon
Or Spider-Man?
or Spider-Man.
which I am going to
Which
buy.
I
Or
accidentally
Last of Us
pre-ordered.
2.
Yeah.
Or Uncharted series.
Let's just keep.
Eh.
Or Kingdom
You
Hearts.
can get Tomb Raider,
Or
which
Final
is
Fantasy
basically
VII.
Uncharted, but with a hot chick instead.
Which? When the heck is it
Nice.
coming out?
I know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Although
Okay.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is great.
Oh, yeah?
I really like that
thought
one.
about getting
The story on that one was really good.
Okay, is that a Switch game?
Yep.
Is that all?
No, there's more.
Wow.
There's always
It was a jam-packed direct. So there's over 900 music tracks. So that's
I don't
crazy.
care about that.
And
900.
Half of them are awful anyway.
Yeah, but they're all from like iconic video games. Like this game is the ultimate game. It has all these collaborations from all of these video games.
I want a
in the
Tetris
same
level
game.
as things come down and you can't like get under
Like,
them and get
That would be kind of cool.
I want that with the Tetris music.
That'd be like
Maybe
a
there
moving
is. I
level,
don't
but I would
know.
like it.
I need that.
It's not gonna happen.
But here's a weird feature they added. So I guess you can like pull up the playlists and all the music as like it were if you had an iPod or something like that, and you can use your Switch as an iPod. Like you can put it in sleep mode and still listen to music.
You like carry it around and dance
Yeah,
with like the
but
iPod commercials.
Yeah,
you have
but-
a big Switch.
But like they did like a little mini commercial for it, and like this Japanese lady like had her purse, and she just stuck her Switch in her purse and was listening to music. And I'm like, that looks so.
I still think
ridiculous.
Nintendo thinks that people like walk around the streets with their Switches and bring them to parties.
In Japan they do probably.
Maybe.
It's a little
that's such
safer
a
in
small
Japan.
community, though.
Japan is one of the most populated countries. Or,
But,
I mean,
like-
Tokyo is one of the most populated cities.
But like, comparatively to the world,
well, yeah, okay.
like I feel like they're really because like I don't remember if you saw the commercial, which I know you did, so I'm not sure why I just said that. Like where they had like bringing your Switch to a party, and everyone's like, yeah, and like gathering around, and everyone's like playing it on like under like a bridge in the street, and you're like, when's that gonna happen? Or they're like
okay.
in their New York apartment on like the roof and like playing their Switches all together. I'm like,
You have to buy.
I feel like now they're
those extra
thinking-
controllers.
now I feel like they're thinking like, oh, people are bringing their Switch and they're gonna like
I'd bring it
play it at a
around.
party. Like play the music in sleep mode, like
No,
bring it
I
like the
around,
new
but-
DJ.
With the Switch, you're like,
This is what I imagine they're thinking. I know it's probably not. With Nintendo Cardboard, you can make your DJ stand. Gonna be honest, they should really do that.
If you would
Free
have brought
idea.
it, if you would have brought it here though,
Pay
what
us.
game would we be able to play? Like
all 5 of us?
yeah.
Cart.
except for me.
Actually, no, because you can only have,
Well, if we had we have 2 Switches here. We could play 8-player Mario Kart with 2 Switches.
but not online. Because you can only have
There's,
2 people on
could be
one
wired.
Switch online at the
No,
same
but
time, which I
how-
recently learned. And
with the
that's
controllers.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
There's 2 controllers
You
per
have
Switch.
to
I have 4 Joy-Cons
do it like
altogether.
this,
And he has 4, so and I have 2 Pro controllers, so
We could all play, technically.
I mean,
Okay.
the point of the Switch having the Joy-Cons is that it's 2-player multiplayer right with one system, you know. So if you have multiple Switches,
Let's get back to Smash Bros.
yeah. I mean, that's mostly there are other things like new items and new assist trophies, but I don't remember any of them. I just wanted to list the major stuff. But I just wanted to say that this game is just massive. There is so much content in this game. It is unreal.
Good, because it's going to be the last.
I would love
It won't be.
if they would
It won't
add...
I highly doubt that.
I would love if they added like a Mario, like if they had a campaign like a Mario Odyssey-esque / Zelda-esque levels where you're actually like in like a third person
That's what I was.
view.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
earlier.
but
Even if it was a couple levels, like if you went into Mario Odyssey World for like a couple levels, because they could totally do that. It's their IP.
but then
They
it wouldn't
could
be
do it.
Smash though. Like
it can be in
Smash
addition
isn't
to it.
Smash isn't a third-person game. It's
I know, but it would be cool with all the characters. Imagine if you could go through like
I mean,
a
yeah,
Mario-esque
but
world.
they can make a different game, not Smash.
That's
Make it
fair.
like that, you know.
fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a huge collaboration. There's over 70 characters, 100 stages. I'm so hyped for this game, and I need it now. And it's not going to come out till December,
But Mario Party's coming out when?
October.
October, yeah.
Yeah,
We need to play that game.
yeah, we should definitely play that.
Okay.
That one looks great.
All right, so is that all we got for gaming news? Anything else?
Got one more bit. For the 3rd year in a row, Overwatch Summer League games have Lucio Ball, which is super fun, and I'm super excited for it.
Not as good as
And
Rocket
I've
League.
been playing it. No one cares.
Actually, the world does because they
Some-
play way more Rocket League than they do Lucio.
Yeah, some people care. I was streaming it with Ryan, and I was telling people that were like, "Oh, this is just a copy of Rocket League," and I'm like, "Yes, it is."
People were telling that to you.
That's what games do, though.
I mean, see, but what I'm saying, my response to it was, Lucio Ball is a copy of Rocket League, but it's a lot more simple. Lucio Ball isn't its own game. Rocket League is its own game, so it needs to be more complex. There's got to be more to it.
It's true, yeah.
Lucio Ball is essentially a mini game.
Yeah.
But thankfully, there's also
Ranked play?
ranked play for Lucio Ball. And me and Ryan have been doing pretty well with it. Last year, we both ended Diamond, right? Mm-hmm. And this year, I just got placed this morning. And Ryan, I'll let you announce it for me. Just
You are the
point at me.
worst person.
I'm just kidding. Do you want me to say it?
I don't care.
Okay,
I will say
Ryan
it.
is so close to diamond, and I am barely diamond. That's where we got
And
played.
he won only 4 of his placement games. I won 6.
Yeah. Here's what happened. Me and Ryan.
And he only won that 4th one because of me.
I'll have you know, I had 3 goals in that. Okay, so what happened was me and Ryan played our first 3 placement games together, and we didn't destroy, but we played really well. And so we were undefeated, and we're like, okay, this is going to be awesome. And yesterday, while he was at work, I played 6 of them, and I lost every single one. And I'm not talking about like close games. I was losing 0-6. And of course, you're not supposed to like blame your team comp, but that's literally what it was. And I decided I
Wait,
can't.
aren't they all Lucio?
Yeah, but it's
You meant his teammates.
Okay, you
yeah.
said team comp, and I was like,
teammates. True. I should have just said teammates. But and then so for the last placement game, I'm like Ryan was on. I was like, I can't do another one without you because I only win when you're with me. And so we played, and that game we won 10-0.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
Ryan actually is the reason you've won all the games.
Well,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
but in that game, or like when me and Ryan play, we're actually always pretty even. It's not like he's carrying. And I think we have good.
I did get 4 out of the 10.
We have we have
And you got 3 and the other guy got 3.
Yeah, we have really good chemistry. We know how to work with each other. And I mean, I don't know if it's just the fact, if that's the single factor is that I add Ryan, then all of a sudden I can win 10-0 instead of losing 6-0. It's kind of crazy.
I know, I lost a few of my games too, so it might be just the good chemistry, because like me by myself, or like we're both of us are more than what's the saying that like there's a saying where 2 things are greater than the whole or something.
2 beavers are better than 1. That song from How I Met Your
No, I
Mother.
can't remember that. I can't remember the
The
saying.
sum is greater than the parts of the whole.
That's kind of one.
That's probably wrong, but something like that.
Well, that's the saying I was going. Like, Tanner and I together, I mean, alone, we're okay. But then, when you put us together, we destroy.
And
We're
this is
almost
called,
unstoppable.
and this is true love.
Yeah, it is. And but yeah, so
So Lucio Ball's back.
I got and
Lucio Ball.
I got placed in diamond.
Lucille.
Ryan
He's
got
back from the dead, and no one could be happier.
I got placed in diamond. Ryan got placed in plat. We're gonna get Ryan up to diamond in no time, and then we're both gonna head our way to
Master.
Fall back down to
And
platinum.
then what you're gonna see is they're gonna be traveling the world playing Lucio Ball for the week it's active every year as professionals.
It's the saddest thing. If it was there all the time, I'd probably play it so much.
Yeah, me too.
Ryan, we would. I want that so bad.
Because the top 500.
But we're gonna move on instead because it's not here forever, and we're not talking about what we're playing this week.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to the main topic. So the main topic is kind of I think a little bits of it are things we've talked about, but it's going to be more of a combined fashion. So games nowadays seem to come in a few different ways. We have games that are like games as a service, so they seem super unfinished when they come out, and they just give you free DLC for a significant amount of time, and
or not
just-
free.
Or yeah, but then that's the other kind of game is where games come mostly finished or almost completely finished, but then they leave out a couple little things and then they charge you DLC. So if you want the full experience, which you almost got, they charge you just that little bit more. And then we have those few magical games that come out that are completely finished, and if they ever do DLC, which is sometimes unlikely, it's either free or it's really just something you can do if you want it. It's not necessary for the story in any way.
Or it's just a ton of content.
Exactly,
Like
but
that
it's
happens
very
after the game comes out.
exactly. But very few games I feel like hit that spot. Most games now are either like, I think a lot of games now are games as a service almost. And like the question is going to be, why do we think so many games nowadays are coming out like that? With either like unfinished or like almost finished, but then they charge you that DLC. And what do we like the most? Do we like the games that
even
give us the
then-
free DLC? Do we like
Okay,
the
I'm gonna
games
cut you
that
guys
give us
off
a little
because
bit?
you guys never let me talk.
Well, you gotta let me finish my thing and then
No!
we can talk. Or do we like the games that come out basically completely done and then you never get more?
Okay, on that note, even the games that come out completely finished, so to speak, still get updated. Like on Xbox, and whenever I turn it on, something always maybe because I turn it on so like I don't play it very often. But still, my single player games get updated all the time. Like Rocket League, and the updates are huge, like usually 3 to 4 gigs.
Rocket League's not single player.
No, but I mean that's just they're not adding any modes of play or anything. They're not adding anything special, but it still needs updating.
So are we differentiating between?
But I'm differentiating patches with actual downloadable
Like actual content.
But still, like the older games, like on N64, before everything started getting super online and digital, like a game would come out, like 007. Now, like that, you didn't need to plug that into the internet to get it updated every 2 days.
Because they don't patch it. Because they didn't have a way to.
And back then,
so
bugs
what
were
do you,
features.
Yeah.
They couldn't fix them. But the point is, so we're not talking about patches. Patches are a different story because like even Metal Gear Solid 5, which I don't remember.
I don't think
that came out.
I don't think they are, because that's still not a
But
finished
for the
game.
case of this, it is different because a patch is just fixing things because games can't come out perfect. That's impossible. No game ever comes out perfect.
Well, did we say Rocket League? In the case of Rocket League, they'd probably add. I don't know if they had balance patches, but Overwatch adds balance patches.
What are they going to balance? Like, it's just a bunch of different skins on the cars.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
some of
Rocket
them
League's a
are
bad
different,
example. League and Overwatch, they do balance patches for heroes.
Well, Blizzard, for example, Warcraft 3, they even have been patching that just in the past few years, and that game came out like over 10 years ago.
Yeah, they have, huh?
Balance patches they still do balance patches all the time, just
But
because.
I still consider it unfinished. I don't care what you guys are.
No game has ever finished.
It's true. No, it's no game comes out perfect. It's literally impossible.
You know, and just like any artist,
GoldenEye was perfect.
you know, the
GoldenEye.
the one thing about people who are actual artists, whether it's music or paintings or whatever, the hardest thing for them is to know when they're done. And I think video games are a form of artistry, and there's always something more you could put into it. And because of the ability to patch and do that, it's kind of, to your point, no game is ever going to be finished from now on.
But speaking of downloadable content,
Right.
What do we prefer?
My personal opinion, I like Bethesda is a very good example of how I like it, where they come out with a very full, good game, and then they add additional content that is high quality content as well. That's how I personally like it, but the reason that I think the world is moving in this direction is that people buy it, even if it's like an unfinished game that doesn't have a lot of content, and they add more content later, people buy it, so they're going to do it because they get money from it.
So it's money.
I mean, that's the main reason the developers do it.
Well,
that was a good podcast.
I think it's not always money though, because we have games like like Sea of Thieves or No Man's Sky, where I guess technically it comes down to money a little bit, but also it's like they want to show, hey, like, yeah, maybe we didn't live up to our promises, but now we want to show that we actually can develop a good game. So like, those became games as services. Essentially, it's like they're going to be serviced with free DLC for the next foreseeable few years, when they just keep getting more and more content. Well, with some games you get the game, you're done with the game, you never look at it again. Games like No Man's Sky just got multiplayer, and it was completely free for people. They've added base building and like a bunch of stuff so that people.
Free.
Right, but my point is, they could have charged for it,
and everyone would have completely not bought it.
Right, but my point is, it's not always just about money. Now, probably it is because they want to sell a new game eventually, and they want people to be like, oh, they do live up to stuff, and then they'll buy another game. So it comes down to money eventually. But I would say also it comes up to like living for the expectations of, hey, we actually can develop a good game.
Yeah, well, there's a balance between money and also meeting your customers' needs. There's kind of a balance there that they have to.
Yeah, and I know I was arguing towards whether even patches can make a game unfinished, but I actually do like that they do come out with DLC for the most part, just because whenever they, like, for example, in Heroes of the Storm, that's not really DLC, I guess, but So Heroes of the Storm, games like Overwatch.
Kind of is. It's downloadable content.
Yeah. But like games like that, they listen. A lot of the times, they'll listen to their base, to the people that are actually playing the game. They'll listen to their complaints or to the feedback, and then they'll add those features to the game. Now, maybe I'm just easy to please, but like I've never really had a problem with any like. I was fine with Heroes as it was when it first came out, but then they just kept on adding characters, and I'm glad that they did. And so like, even though I would argue that technically they're all these games that are coming out are unfinished, I still like it because it gives the people room to listen to the feedback that they're given and improve the game as it goes on, rather than just. I mean, not all games can be 007, GoldenEye, so.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. Please.
There's a disagree there.
Keithan, there's one thing you mentioned that I think is some pretty good insight, where you said that games seem to be a service. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is outside of the gaming industry, that's actually a trend that's happening with product businesses. It's a term called servitization, where you have a company like Canon that sells copiers and whatever, but they have a division where they'll sell you the copier, but they'll also sell you on essentially the servicing it. Because oftentimes, their copiers and printers and scanners, whatever, they'll be connected to the internet. They require updates, like they have their own patches. They require some physical maintenance more often now. And so they'll sell you on a service. And what it does, for one, is that it keeps your brand on their mind, on the customer's mind always. And it gives you recurring revenue. So you don't sell a product and you're done with that customer. Like, you sell a product and then you sell the services along with that product. And like I said, it's a huge, huge trend. I'm actually preparing a webinar for my company to do in October. We're doing a webinar with Salesforce, and Salesforce, knows a lot about servitization. They're all about, continuing to serve their customers. And so when you brought it up in the world of gaming, I remembered that's a trend overall. And so I have to agree that it's about keeping part of it is about staying relevant and staying up to date. That way you can sell one product and you don't have to come up with a complete new product the next year. You can just keep updating the one that you already sold them and sell them on the services.
Yeah, and I think I like the idea of games as a service for the most part. I think for me, if that's what the game wants and they can do it well, I like it. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like in a way, and I don't even have Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know why, because it has so much stuff, but it's totally games like with a service game, because they have the game with a campaign, tons of multiplayer content, and they don't charge you for that DLC. Theoretically, I mean, you have to spend tons of money to get the new cars and all that if you don't want to save up the in-game money, but you could. If you never wanted to spend a penny extra than buying the game, you don't have to. And that's how they're able to release all that free DLC, is because they know, I mean, they have billions of people buy stuff because it's Rockstar. Let's be honest, not every game can be Rockstar. My frustration comes when games try to be that and fail, or they're forced into it. So if they're forced into it and they do it with a good heart, I think they can do it. And I feel like that might be like No Man's Sky and Sea of Thieves, like games that were kind of like, I don't think that was their original plan, was to ever be games with a service, but I think they were forced into it. But I think they've held on to that and really pushed it. But other games, they just fold and collapse, like Mass Effect Andromeda. It kind of needed to be that kind of game where they would actually, make it a game that people liked. Like, Zach, you were in love with all the Mass Effect games.
I am a huge fan of Mass Effect 1 through 3. I played the crap out of those things. And I never played on Mass Effect Andromeda, unfortunately. But...
Why?
When it first came out, anyways, because I don't have an Xbox One or anything. But it was very unfortunate that the game turned out the way it did.
It looked downgraded, but I was under the impression that it looked worse than the others, but it was still okay. Was it not?
It had so many problems. Like people's
Tons of
characters
bugs.
would get like super wonky looking, and there was like boring content.
Yeah, but that was before it came out. And so then when it came out, like
it was still
I think
really problematic.
What was disappointing about it is the expectation was so high because the quality of Mass Effect 2 and 3 was so good.
Which is a topic we actually talked about on a different podcast, was expectations and, can you realistically meet them and stuff like that.
And I think they needed to become a games with a service in a way. Like they needed to release good content and huge patches. And they just didn't do it, and instead they just shut down that entire division. And they've done nothing with it. It's a dead game. They don't care about it anymore. Mm-hmm. And so, like, to me, like, that's like they were going for something, but they didn't maybe want to put in all the man hours. And then instead of accepting what they've become, they just gave it up. So, like, to me, like, so many games try to be other games, and they fail at it. So I don't mind games with service. I think it's great. Like Minecraft, I would consider a games like as a service because it's just been better and better and grown. And they've added more stuff for free for how many years now?
A lot.
No.
And like to me, that's like a great example of a game that can do it well. And then there are games that just can't, and they've tried. Like Destiny 1. It really tried hard to be like that, like where they had like a 10-year game plan, and then they finally made it good, and then they released Destiny 2, and then it sucked again, and everyone was mad, and people are hoping that they'll release DLC that makes it good again, but it's like they haven't learned from it, and I don't think it should be a crutch.
Make DLC great again.
Yeah, like my thing is, I don't think it should be a crutch. Like maybe the first game that comes out, you have to learn from it. I'm fine with that. Creating a whole new IP is not easy. That's why, I have not played No Man's Sky, but I can respect that they've done so much for it, and I'm hoping Sea of Thieves follows that because it's a first new game, and is hard to do. And if they can then build on that and make it better, but I feel like Destiny or Bungie fell into the trap of they let it be their crutch. They're like, oh, we made the last one good. People are going to buy this because we're Bungie, and then if it sucks, we'll just fix it again in the DLC. Like I feel like they're using it as a crutch, and I don't like that. But overall, I think my favorite kind of game is one that seems like it comes out finished, and then it really gives you DLC if you want to play more in that world. Yep. So you don't need to, but for me that was like Sunset Overdrive. You can beat that game, you can feel good about it, and you beat the campaign, and then they have DLC if you want more of it, which if you've played that game, you'll want more of it because it's great. And I bought it, and I was so happy I did because it was amazing. And so to me, that's my favorite kind, but then I would say my second is probably games with a service. I think my least favorite are ones where you feel like you have to get the DLC to be able to get the full experience. Like, I don't like that.
Okay, yeah. So, on that note, I want to say that there obviously is a balance that developers need to find between, creating a good original game by itself that will leave people satisfied from beginning to end. That's what has to happen. And I think too often we've seen where people be like, oh, we can release this even if it has these issues, and then since we can patch or since we can add DLC, we can just fix them later. But obviously that can piss off a lot of people, such as what happened with No Man's Sky. Yes, they did create it, but they'll always have to live with the fact that they did a bad job. But now, like, for example, like in Overcooked has DLC. And you did not need to have the DLC to feel like you beat it all. But once I was done, I was so happy that there was DLC. I didn't mind paying for it. Now, like, the question is, would they have added that originally in the first place if DLC just didn't exist, if it wasn't a thing? And I'm thinking probably not. Because I believe that if they create a good, some developers, that if they create a good game and they do have a beginning and end to it that's satisfying, and enough people love it and they buy it and they want more, then it's like, okay, let's quickly, or not quickly, but let's come out with this DLC. Let's develop it in the meantime while people are still playing it originally, and release it so that we can, first of all, keep them playing our game, but give them more of what they want. And that's what I wanted. I wanted more Overcooked, and thankfully they had it. Mm-hmm. And I cannot wait for what DLC they'll come out with Overcooked 2. I'm already...
Would you recommend Overcooked 2 on Xbox or Switch? Because I think you can buy it on Switch too, right?
I guess not Switch if you want to play online, because you know how Switch is with online multiplayer.
Xbox it is.
Yeah, Xbox. You can also...
You can play games online.
But it's not as good, like you said. Haven't you been complaining about the Switch online multiplayer stuff forever?
I've been complaining about the lack of features.
Like voice chat. You can't do voice chat.
Well, yeah, but like it plays fine online. It doesn't have any of the features that the other stuff has.
Well,
Right, so Xbox it is.
So Xbox.
Okay, yeah. you can also get it on PC, but I would recommend playing with a controller. It apparently sucks playing with keyboard and mouse, so
I can
Yeah,
imagine.
that would be weird.
it'd be really weird.
Xbox Master Race.
Well, I'm
not a thing.
I'm playing on
Master
the
Race.
PS4, so
I know.
No, because from the one time I've played Overcooked with you guys, I'm remembering the controls and everything. Like, that would be so weird on the computer.
yeah, super weird. But like I said, that's what DLC should.
What did that put in these?
That's what DLC should strive for. Is create a good game from beginning to end, and then have more content that you don't need to finish the game. You don't need to feel like you had a good time, but it's more content for people to have while you're developing the sequel.
I agree with you on that.
I agree
mean,
with him.
Yeah. Originally, Bethesda, I feel like they do that really well. As well.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red.
You know,
also
besides
does.
having the game not be super buggy.
Yeah.
Well, that makes it
become
funny.
expected.
That is
And
kind
people
of a feature
actually-
for those games.
People mod it and then they fix
Yeah.
it.
But that makes it
Which is
really
lazy
funny.
of Bethesda.
Like
Well-
Skyrim and those horses, or
But they allow it.
when you get hit by the giants.
That's
That's
true.
just hilarious. I mean, I don't want that bug to go away.
Yeah. The quality of
that
games.
is a feature.
Yeah.
Feature.
Getting
There you
hit
go.
by the trolls a million feet in the air, that's a feature.
Okay.
The quality of their games is good, and the bugs are expected based off of how big they are. But like the quality is still there.
Yeah.
And then, the bugs aren't game breaking or anything. So
Yeah. I will talk now, I guess, since we all got all silent. I always like it when we have opposite opinions on this podcast, and I'm gonna say that I don't like the idea of games as a service.
Okay.
Because
Stop talking.
how dare you?
No diversity of thought here.
because of games like Sea of Thieves and what was the other game that was the example?
No Man's Sky.
Overcooked.
No Man's Sky. Overcooked is
Effect.
not a games as a service game.
No.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of it because
What about Minecraft?
Minecraft,
Or GTA 5?
GTA 5. I don't know
Or
anything about
Pong.
GTA 5 though.
They release like new things all the
Yeah,
time.
that game's been out for so long.
It's still
So is Minecraft. Well, it wasn't. Minecraft has never been $60, right?
No, it hasn't. But Grand Theft Auto.
And then Grand Theft Auto was, yeah.
But it also did have
Sea of Thieves was
say-
also $60. Well, here's the problem with games as a service. Like, and I've gone so back and forth about Sea of Thieves on this podcast. We've talked about Sea of Thieves a lot. You'll never You'll never fail to hear me talk about Sea of Thieves or the Nintendo Switch on this podcast. Sea of Thieves
Even
was.
though he doesn't play Sea of Thieves
I played
But he
it.
knows.
I played it.
once.
I played the free trial and saw everything there was in the game. So
That is a problem. If you get through the game on the free trial, it's like,
and I know there's DLC, but the problem is like they were charging $60 for that game off the bat, and we've talked about that before. And if you're gonna do this games as a service thing, the game should not cost money from the start. It
and
shouldn't.
I'm going to
So
say
you're saying like it should be like a League or a Heroes? It
should be a League or a free-to-play
and then
thing.
you get stuff forever, but then you can buy certain things.
Yeah,
that is exactly why I didn't buy Sea of Thieves.
yeah, and me too. And
technically
it doesn't even
don't
need
either.
and like it doesn't even need to be free
right.
necessarily. Like I would have bought Sea of Thieves for maybe $30.
So you're saying like in
But-
Minecraft, keep it cheaper.
Keep it cheaper, and then you can do your games as a service thing. Because paying $60 for Sea of Thieves at launch, unfortunately, a lot of people did because they're idiots.
I didn't, but there was. I still haven't paid for the game.
And thankfully, there was
I just have
blowback
Game
enough
Pass.
to
Yeah.
teach him a
I'm
lesson.
gonna play some devil's advocate here. So I know, like, I didn't buy it for $60. I still have the Game Pass because
that's the way to play it.
Has been cool, but
Also,
With-
I have to remember to cancel it.
with as much as they've been coming out with, and they're not charging for it, I mean, charging $30 for a game that they're constantly working on, that would almost be like giving it away for free. And obviously, they need to make some kind of money off
But
of it.
that's what Minecraft did. Minecraft makes tons of money.
Yeah, but to be fair,
Minecraft
it
is a
also-
billion-dollar franchise.
But it also started as like the cheapest game ever. Like
Yeah, it
I didn't play it when it
started
first came out, but it started out as crap. Let's be honest.
okay.
Like even worse. Like it, and the graphics like they didn't have to put a lot into the graphics either. So
Graphics.
yeah,
No, but that's
like Netflix and graphics.
I mean, as much complaints as Sea of Thieves have gotten, no, I've enjoyed it at every point. I enjoyed it even in its bare bones state. Maybe it's because I didn't put the $60 in.
I'm going to say you didn't have
But-
that risk.
But at the same time, I kind of get why it's $60 if they're going to be continuously adding, because every add-on or every, I guess, DLC that's come out, it has significantly improved the game every time.
Okay, so
And
here,
so like I don't fault them for charging $60 for a game that they're every single patch or every single new thing that they've added has
Ryan,
been really good.
But I don't want to wait for it.
Here's the problem. Well, that, but also they upset a lot of people.
I get
If
that.
you upset a lot of people, you did something wrong. But if I didn't have to pay for it, just like you didn't, for whatever reason, I had the Xbox Pass or whatever, I would have been right there playing with you. But now I didn't buy it, and I haven't been playing with you. They lost out on a customer because of
the initial price.
this mistake at launch. Now I would probably be okay with buying it.
What happened if I had my phone here?
And so that's the issue. Like the game now, it's like, okay, maybe it's worth more than $30, but they lost out on sales at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I can totally agree with what you're saying. I think that they shouldn't have charged $60, and if they had to, they could have done $30 and then release a bunch of this content, and then have someone working on maybe a huge campaign, and then when that comes out, charge $20 for that DLC.
That's
Because
what I was going to say.
If you've already
too.
got the people and given them free content, and you're like, this is huge, you guys are going to love this, people will be probably willing to pay that, and then they can get their $50/$60 in the end.
There's nothing wrong with free and paid DLC in the same game. I wouldn't
Has it ever
mind
been done?
Yeah, a few games have done. I can't remember which
I'm sure it
games.
has. Anything that.
But there's some games that have done free
Natural
and
keep
paid
coming
DLC.
up with a good middle ground solution.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
but like Sea of Thieves could have done that. Like I can see why they want to be compensated for their work because it's a beautiful game.
It's really
it's a beautiful game. But that's when it launched. I feel like that's all it was a nice, pretty game to look at, and that's it. And there's got to be stuff to do in the game. It can't just, you got to have that balance. I already talked about this. It can't just look good. It's got to play good too, you know?
Yeah, and I think I would have had more of an issue if I would have paid the $60 initially. But
I don't want games for, I don't want to just, I mean, I'd love to get games for free, but like, I don't want Rare to be like, oh, here's a game that we worked for 4 years on. We don't want any money for it. No, that's not what I'm saying.
I want that. I would take it.
What I'm saying is the games as a service is going to completely remove the finish a game before you launch it thing.
So it's like the beta.
Which
the
is
whole
what you were
beta
complaining about
idea,
earlier.
where
Like
you can pay for
GoldenEye was a
betas.
finished game when it came out. Games as a service is going to completely eliminate that. No game is ever going to be finished now, ever. And we talked about earlier how technically no game is ever really going to be finished. I mean, you could even argue that GoldenEye isn't a finished game because if it came out today, they could probably add more to it. But I don't like games as a service because I worry that the greedier companies are going to use it in the wrong way, and then I'm going to be
Just
out a lot
release
of money.
crap.
Yeah.
And I agree, it has its pitfalls, but I would say even then, my least favorite though are the games that are like awesome, come out completely finished, and then they're done. Like, because like you said with Overcooked, like if I liked it that much, I want more. Like I think God of War is not planning on any DLC.
Probably
And it's, a lot of people are kind of upset by that because they would be willing to spend more money because they want to be in that world more. And I haven't played God of War, and honestly, it doesn't interest me. I know it's supposed to be like the best game ever, but I just don't care about it at all for some reason.
If you
I don't
started
either,
playing,
so-
I think you would start caring.
But I
don't
don't
really
know.
care
I have
for
a
it
hard
either,
time
though.
playing games now for some reason. Like
You're on a gaming podcast.
But to finish them, like I still haven't finished Breath of the Wild. I still haven't finished Horizon Zero Dawn. I just like
Part of that is because of the rise of multiplayer games.
yeah,
and
maybe the other part is because I'm exhausted because I'm training and in leadership at work, and I just am always busy.
It's Quitter talk.
So
my friend.
that's very possible that I'm so exhausted that sometimes I just want to come home and watch something because even playing a game can be like tiring sometimes.
Yeah.
So that might be part of the problem, and I admit that
It takes more effort to play a game than watch a show.
it does. Watch them, yeah.
That's why I watch so much shows.
So like I would say my least favorite though is like, and I say least favorite lightly. Like I don't hate that kind of game. Because my real least favorite is a game as a service because they were forced into it and it's like lackluster. That's my least favorite. Or just like blatant clones of games. I also am not a huge fan of that. Like even if they're free, but even then, like a good
Paladins.
like a good game,
Which
like
is free.
a good game though that like just doesn't give you anything else. It just kind of feels sad to me because like if I really like that, like had Sunset Overdrive not had extra DLC, I would have been sad because that DLC was amazing, and like I wanted to put in the extra time, but. I do like the idea. That's why I said like my favorite is a finished game that then gives you DLC where you can explore something different, like Skyrim. Like you can go in, beat the whole game, but if you want to spend more time, not only can you buy their DLC and play extra, you can also do mods. So you can spend as much time in that world as you want while also still getting a finished game.
But if DLC was not a thing, would you have still been sad to finish the game?
Of like Sunset Overdrive or something?
Yeah, because you were saying that you were sad, like you would have been sad.
I would have been because I wanted to play more.
But like if there was no, like if you had no concept of the DLC, would you have still been sad?
I mean, I think I would have been just because I would like to be in it more. Now, I would have been more upset had it been an almost finished game and then they make you pay money. And I can't think of any specific example right now, but I've decided to change my mind. That is my least favorite, is where you have to buy the DLC to play, really beat the game. Like, it's like some dumb cliffhanger, and not for a part 2, but for their DLC. Like, that would bug me more.
Kind of
The Last of Us. The Last of Us, their DLC, wasn't it like that?
I don't know, I never played it.
The Last of Us doesn't have DLC.
No, it does.
The first game or the second?
The first one.
Second game's not out yet.
Oh yeah.
The first one had DLC, and it had so the girl, and I forget her name.
Ellie.
So she's a lesbian. You wouldn't have known that unless you got the DLC.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
But I don't know that made a difference to the story.
I'm not saying that specifically. I was just
But you're
referencing
saying
it.
to learn more about the character, like if you're playing part 2 and all of a sudden, actually I think part 2 it is super important to know that.
Well, see,
so if you didn't play the DLC, maybe you'd be like, wait, what
exactly
because her girlfriend's part of the
That's
story.
exactly what happened.
next game.
Like so, because in the trailer for The Last of Us 2 or
Which is super dark.
a cutscene.
It's pretty.
It's freaking.
It's a heavy game.
Yeah. A cutscene that they did showed her, kissing her girlfriend, and the people who didn't buy the DLC were like, "What? The
Like, wait,
heck?"
what? What's going on?
Yeah, and then everyone who did play the DLC was kind of like they shamed them into it. Oh, you didn't play the DLC? What a filthy casual, that whole thing. Now I'm not saying like, oh, therefore they shouldn't have DLC or whatever, but. Like you said,
don't add an important story element into DLC.
Exactly. And I don't know how important that is to The Last of Us. That could just be an outlier example of like just one specific part of the character who's much bigger anyway. But it was just an issue.
A more solid, like with StarCraft 2, like I think they fixed it since kind of a little bit, but like when it first came out. When StarCraft 1, it had those extra campaigns, like it had the expansion, which was fine. I think if you're gonna add an expansion, I mean the way that StarCraft 1 originally did it, I think that was fine. But then how StarCraft 2 did it is that you kind of because StarCraft 1 it kind of it did have a cliffhanger, but they came out with StarCraft with the expansion.
Brood War.
And then StarCraft 2
Brood War did have a cliffhanger too.
Because they were always playing on StarCraft 2, but when StarCraft 2 came out, like you had to it was almost like buying a new game every expansion. I think Brood War, I don't remember how much it cost, but I don't think it cost as much as the original game, but like
Brood War came out a long time ago also.
And now StarCraft 2 and this is why I say they fixed it because StarCraft 2 I think now is free. You can get StarCraft 2 for free, but you still have to buy the extra expansions and I didn't like that. Like I wanted to because I put off buying the expansion with Nova in it for a very long time because I didn't want to put the money into it. But then now that I've been getting decent bonuses at work and getting raises and stuff, like I was like,
Pushing drugs.
Yeah. No, I can. I felt like okay, I can just drop 15 on this right now, and I have enjoyed it. Like the content is great, but it's still annoying that I had to put the money in the first place.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Instead of just
I can agree with that because I still haven't bought it yet, and I want to play it really bad, but I just can't afford it at the time.
It's kind of like Age of Empires, like the
They had an expansion.
HD edition, like you have to still buy the extra ones if you want to, like, yeah, like you have to buy the game and you have to buy the expansion packs. Luckily, they do something kind of cool though, because I did buy it, and I think it was like $10 for like 3 expansions, so it wasn't like you had to buy them all separately. And it's not. I think I spent in total amount of like $25 for everything in that game for the HD, so not terrible. But something cool they did do is like they have like a rotation of the maps and different characters that, like, so when Zach or like Ryan played with me, like they could choose 3 of some of the new ones, like, and they just get like a taste of it.
Oh,
so like they do allow you, like, if you have it and they don't, to at least still play some with friends, because it switches off between which ones they can still play as, so they can still play some of those new characters, which is kind of cool. I think that's a cool way of doing that.
And I mean, Blizzard actually does do that with their multiplayer in StarCraft 2, but as far as the campaign and all of that, which is what I really love, you'd have to pay for it.
Okay. So really quick, I mentioned that, you know, games can do it right, they can do it wrong. I believe Overcooked has done it right. What are there games that you guys believe have done it right that that you've enjoyed?
Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild has done it right and wrong at the same time, though.
So not right.
So when so when Breath of the Wild was announced, not when it was announced, but during the Nintendo Switch presentation, January 2017, they announced.
Specific.
Well, that's when they made this announcement.
It's tattooed on his.
Yeah, it's right here. They announced that Breath of the Wild would have DLC, and this was before the game was out. So it became really controversial because everyone was like, "Oh, holy crap! Are they withholding content from the game and selling it to us as DLC later?" In a way that they did, and in a way they didn't. So they had 2 DLC packs for Breath of the Wild. Or technically they had 3. There was one that was available at launch, which is just a bunch of random items that didn't really do much. There was a shirt Link could wear that said Nintendo Switch on it. It made you look like you were not in a video game at all. And
yeah,
I
found that shirt. And I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. And then there's DLC Pack 2, which came with Master Mode, which was hard mode, the Cave of Trials, and things like that. And then there's DLC 3, which was the story DLC. So I would say that the first 2 DLC packs were kind of just withheld from the game and sold as DLC. And that was kind of disappointing to me.
Can you also get a motorcycle?
Yes,
Yeah,
in the third DLC. Yeah. That was in the third DLC pack, but yeah. So I was disappointed with that too, because I feel like they were withholding content. They made you pay for another difficulty, and like
That's weird.
Yeah, so that didn't sit well with me. And another thing is you couldn't buy the pack separately. You could only pay flat $20 and you get all of them, or you don't get it at all.
Or you wait for it to be out for a while and then you buy the game and then it comes with all of those for $60.
Did it?
I don't know.
I was going to say, even if
I don't know how much I spent on that game. I'll be honest.
It doesn't. Nintendo.
It might have been
$80. So yeah. But the reason I say right and wrong is because I think the first 2 were wrong. I think they withheld content from the game, and it was kind of stupid. But the third DLC pack with the story, it wasn't finished when the game came out. They were working on it still.
And you can still finish the game.
And that's the thing is, as long as the game is finished, and they call it going gold. When a game goes gold, that means it's completed, I guess. I think it has something to do with AAA games, but it's some business term. But
see, the thing that you brought up, maybe it's weird because they kind of overshowed their hand a little bit. They said that they were going to be releasing DLC before the game even came out.
Yeah,
so
that was the controversy.
But I mean, just from a psychological standpoint, that's stupid.
What do you mean?
Like, why announce that you're already like? You don't announce DLC before the games even come out, because then people are gonna get mad because they're like, well, they're withholding information instead of like, why not make it a surprise? Why not release the game without saying anything? And then be like,
oh, we see that you all loved it so much. We've been building this for you.
Well, the reason that happened is because
all about the wording.
Nintendo's been trying to play catch up recently with the Switch since they're a decade behind it. Like 2 decades behind and everything.
So they overplayed.
So Nintendo's like, oh, this deal's expansion pass thing is becoming popular, so we're going to do one for Breath of the Wild. Although I'm sure that the developers also just wanted to, give more to the players.
They were just overeager, and
they were overeager, and they did it wrong because it's Nintendo and they don't know how to do anything right for the most part. Besides make games, it's pretty much the only thing they know how to do is make games.
Their PR certainly needs.
Yeah, their PR needs some work. But that became a controversy. But I think the story DLC was fantastic. It was worth $20 on its own. The story DLC, and I got all the other DLC too.
Zach, did you play Breath of the Wild?
I do have it. I did play it all the way through, and I do have the DLC and played through it as well.
Yeah, it's really
I agree.
good.
It was definitely worth it.
And it was worth it. They just needed to not announce it before the game came out. Otherwise, honestly, if they announced it after the game had come out, like no one would have complained. Like 0 people. Like, oh my gosh, more Zelda.
No, there would have been someone that complained.
Well, yeah, but
it's
still,
the internet.
That's true.
You'll
but
find
still,
a complainer if you want.
more Zelda, you know. And I was happy to have more Breath of the Wild to play, and that's why I was okay with paying for the DLC.
So that's the game you think did it right.
Yeah.
On that same note, though, there are issues with, like, for example, Pokemon Go, which they didn't communicate with their players at all, and that blew up in their face.
What
so
controversy was
That may
that?
have been more Niantic than Nintendo.
Well, yeah, no, not necessarily Nintendo. I'm just saying, as a game, the developers who made the game didn't, like, there was issues, bugs, and they were also going to be adding more content and things like that, but they didn't communicate any of that to the players very well. So people didn't know what was
going on. How long is that
on.
game getting it out for at this point?
2 years.
And then they finally communicated, but I was long gone.
Yeah.
It's actually good now, though.
But it just, there has to be a communication from the developers to the players as well. Like, you don't want to tell
has to be smart.
the players everything for that reason, but you also, they do need to know some things. Because then, players aren't left in the dark about things.
I bet they could have said, hey, we had an idea for something that we were thinking about adding for DLC. We're still going to work on it, but we don't know when it's going to come out, and we don't know we're still trying to figure it out because we want you guys to have more Zelda. I bet if they would have worded it better, people would have been happy.
Right. And I mean,
happier.
Happier. I gotta say, the smarter move is probably still don't say anything. So I mean, I can see your point now. How you said they did it right and wrong. The content was right, but
The wording was wrong.
The wording and
timing.
their approach and timing were wrong.
Well, that was a lot of what Xbox, when it first launched, where they were going to launch the Xbox One, is the way that they worded everything was terrible. Because all they had to say is, we're going to make it like Steam. And people would have been like, hooray! Instead, they worded it super terribly, like, you have to be online. You'll check every day. And if you're not, you don't get to play. And, everything's digital. And people were like, no. But if they would have said, we're going to make it like Steam with sharing and digital so it's easier and you can share with your friends and play together, people would have been like, hooray, Steam, we love it. Because people love Steam, but they hated Xbox's idea, even though it was basically the exact same thing.
I thought you couldn't share games.
They need to hire.
That's how. No,
That was one of the ideas they were going to come out with.
Well, they have it now.
and that's I was gonna say
That
that's
was
how
the thing
Ryan plays a lot of his games.
doing it, was doing something like that. So
That's how I play all my Steam games.
but they
They're all his.
but they worded it so terribly that people got freaked out. So wording is so important.
That was the new console generation. In the previous generation, we were so used to being able to just have everything on the discs, and we could share our discs. So we weren't used to the cloud.
But you are though, because everyone had Steam. Everyone says they weren't used to it, but everyone has Steam.
PC gaming has been popular for a long time, but it really didn't kick off until I would say 2011, 2012.
Well, and people did hate Steam when it first came out.
Yeah,
it took them a while to get
I'd
that.
say
really.
Steam is a lot more popular now than 10 years ago. And I mean,
But
that's
even then,
obvious,
it was still
but
popular. They could have
still
worded it that
was,
way,
yeah.
and people, I think, would have been okay. But so you have Zelda. What game would you say was your perfect
Game that
was
did it right?
Did it right.
Skyrim, probably. I would say they did it right. I mean, they had a
Beautiful Skyrim lover.
beautiful game.
The amount of hours it would take to just play that game, I can't even imagine.
Without the DLC, it's
I got
massive.
200 hours without the DLC.
And then you get the DLC, and
That's
you
what
can
I'm
play
saying.
And mods.
Like-
add more campaign.
The idea of Skyrim just overwhelms the heck out of me right now. Overcooked, done. Love it.
You bought 5 Kingdom Hearts games.
Okay, yeah, but I played half of them.
How's that not overwhelming?
First of all, it was more than 5.
sorry.
Don't place a large bet against yourself on this.
Yeah.
It was actually 10.
But the thing about that though is that I've played a lot of them already, and because it's in anticipation for Kingdom Hearts 3, I've buffered a lot of time for me to get through a lot of them. I'm not playing all of them before the third one. I couldn't do that. But I would still play I wouldn't pour 200 hours into it.
You don't have to though.
No, you don't have.
You don't have to.
That was over the course.
But then you
of
get lost
2 or 3 years
into it though.
That's a game you can come back to randomly.
And that's why I kept selling on other consoles too.
I'm gonna buy for the
I'm
4th
guilty
time.
of that. I totally got it.
If I retired tomorrow,
did?
Yeah.
See, you
I
can
can play it on the go.
Then you can play it mods.
I have it on Xbox.
if I were to,
Don't you get, like,
and I have it on
Mario
PC
mods?
as well.
But not Xbox.
I think you can get Mario mods on the Switch. Version.
I mean,
no, you get
Ryan,
Zelda.
Ryan, okay, you have Skyrim on Steam, right? Okay, so that means I have it.
Yeah.
So okay, sometime within
special
this
edition.
within this month, I'll download it and play it. I tried that with World of Warcraft a couple of times, and
No, but it's completely different from World.
I know it's different, but I'm just saying, I gave WoW a go, expecting that I would never do it. I'm glad I tried it.
Go.
I'm glad I tried it, but
I actually bought that game twice too. I forgot. I bought it on 360 and I bought it on Xbox One.
wow. Ha.
There you go.
That's one of the only games I've
No.
ever purchased more than once.
I'll play it at least once. I'll download it and play it at least once before the end of this
I've
month.
only played it too because I've seen a lot of girl players really fall in love with Skyrim.
There's this
You
old
might be too
grandma
bloody
that
for
plays
her.
it actually.
No,
What?
she's actually fine with
An old grandma?
violence.
Yeah, there's this grandma and she
okay.
actually plays it and it's pretty great.
Oh, she's the YouTuber.
Yeah.
She calls her audience grandchildren. She's
Yeah.
like, all right, grandchildren.
Oh, the grandma that plays
she's-
Skyrim?
Yeah.
That's
She
funny.
has over 100,000 subscribers.
So that's your perfect kind of game is
Perfect
Skyrim.
woman.
I mean,
Perfect,
and
like,
this is perfect one. But yeah, that's coming from someone who loves single player games. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what about you?
I would have to say Echo Skyrim.
Okay.
I'd say for me,
Because they had,
It is good.
they had, the Dragonborn DLC, and then they had, another one.
and they
right?
had the house
They had
building
a few.
DLC.
Yeah.
And I got all of
was-
them, and
yeah.
they made it pretty cheap too.
Yeah, and
it
there's a
wasn't-
lot of content in the DLC.
Well, when I
too.
bought Special Edition, it just gave it to me. So $60,
Yeah.
it gave me it all.
Yeah.
And then I also had mods where I could play completely new stories that people made
Except
up
for
with
on-
voice acting and new worlds and everything.
Sophia is the best mod.
You know,
have
And then
Sophia.
on Steam, if you already had Skyrim before, it gave you
A
special
discount,
edition. No, it gave you special edition for free.
Yeah,
They
it
did that
yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, so
So that's
No.
Skyrim seems to be a crowd favorite so far.
no other game though you can think of? I mean, that's fine. I'm just wondering.
Oh, there's another game I can think of, but I haven't played it. You guys still want me to say it?
Go ahead. We'll have that.
The
be
Witcher
Ryan's.
3.
Yeah, Witcher 3 is also one.
They released 2 or 3 expansion packs that were apparently phenomenal. And the game itself is just phenomenal.
Yeah, they were saying that.
That's on my list of games to play.
No. Titanfall 2.
That's correct.
It had DLC.
Did they even have DLC?
No, but it had a story. I don't know.
They gave
but,
free stuff, I think.
Yeah, it
Games gave you free
had a really cool story mode, and then the multiplayer on it is phenomenal. I love it.
And they would just give you new maps, I think, for free. So still downloadable content, just free downloadable content.
Nice.
So I'm gonna echo definitely. I love Skyrim, but I'm not gonna echo it just for the sake of some difference here. Definitely gonna echo Titanfall 2 though. Everyone needs to play that game. It's really
Is it on
fantastic.
PlayStation?
No, I maybe haven't. Though.
Yeah, it is. It's on
Probably is.
PlayStation.
You probably just can't play.
It's on
it
PC too.
Okay.
and Xbox. The first one was only on
If you have an Origin
Xbox for a while.
account, it's an EA game. So if you have an Origin account, you can just buy it.
You play it on Xbox. If I have it on PC, could we play?
Probably.
No, it's not crossplay.
Is it not?
No.
Microsoft.
That
they're
was
the only-
before Microsoft started doing the crossplay.
Bah. Okay. Well, maybe they should patch it.
But I would say
That would be some DLC.
I would say definitely Sunset Overdrive for me. It was so well done, and the DLC was just so goofy and perfect. And I bought it at a time when it was on a discount, and I got all the DLC. But I would say that was probably one of my favorites. And then I'd also have to go with Tomb Raider.
Has DLC.
It does have DLC. I haven't played it as much as
I know there's
should.
costumes, and I got those, but
And maybe it doesn't have a lot of DLC. And maybe I'm speaking out of my butt here, but I loved Tomb Raider, fantastic
Whoa.
game, and it's one that I would like to
Impressive.
put more things in. Yeah,
hey,
I know, right?
shout out to Tomb Raider in September.
I'm so excited. And so yeah, I'd say those ones. What about you? Oh, you said Overcooked.
Overcooked. Yeah. Are there any like AAA games that are coming out or recently came out, recent games that just don't have DLC and won't?
God of War,
Octopath Traveler.
God of War. Any others?
I don't know. No, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
My next question is: do you think they're making a mistake? Like, is this the new normal?
Well,
Hope not.
You hope not.
I know a lot of people really love Octopath Traveler and they want DLC, but Square Enix is like, no, we're not doing it.
Well, yeah. For example, like when the Final Fantasy VII. Okay, this isn't a great example because it's from a different game.
You mean if it ever comes out?
I know. Oh my gosh, it'll come out, like the year after I die or something. Okay, I'm gonna say when it comes out though. I would be a little weirded out if it did have DLC.
Actually, it's gonna be episodic. They're gonna release multiple
Screw me.
games.
Jeez.
Oh, but I don't want to though.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
I don't know if that's changed, but the last time I saw an
Well,
update,
then they better
for it,
make it like if they're gonna release it in episodes, then they need to make it go kind of the route of Bendy. And now I know Bendy and the Ink Machine, like it's an indie platform, so naturally it's not going to be as expensive. But still, if they're going to release Final Fantasy VII like that, it better not be expensive.
Like $10 an episode or something. Is that what you're saying?
I would be okay with $10 an episode. But if it's going to be like more, if it's going to be more than 10, then I'm going to start having a problem.
Well, let's hope they do it
I would
right.
say Hitman is kind of like a weird. So they did the episodic thing. I got it when it was already done with all the episodes.
Mhm.
So like I would say that was kind of wrong the way they did it with the episodes. But I think they did have a good game. I think it ended up being the same amount of money anyways. So I mean, you could argue that it's good because if you didn't like the first couple episodes, you didn't have to buy more of them. But I feel like what I think I did wrong is I wish it would have added more, like DLC, and not just said we need a second game, because the way it ended seemed kind of weird to me. So I'd say that one, like, it did some things right, because it was a really good game, but I think it did some things wrong, because I kind of wish it did have DLC. Like, I would have paid $10 extra to get more of that game, and now I just have to pay $60 for a whole new one.
Yeah,
so
Final Fantasy VII, there's so much nostalgia power behind it that people are. It doesn't matter if like people like the first episode. I think they're still going to buy the second and third.
I probably would, honestly.
Because like yeah,
I'd be a sucker.
Yeah, I'd be a sucker too. Like
I'd probably
because
play
I
the first
loved
one.
Final Fantasy VII, and I'd want to see even if I had a problem with the game, with everything the game had to offer. With everything, if I had a problem with everything, I would still
You'd still buy the
get
whole
it,
thing.
because I would want to see that story fleshed out in those beautiful graphics.
Besides Kingdom Hearts 3, that's the game I've been anticipating forever. And so that's my curse. Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 7.
Like I
Who
said,
knows
it
when they
has
were
that-
ever going to come out?
It has that nostalgia power behind it. Like, it can be the worst of all games, but because they're suckers like us,
I would buy anything with the Zelda in the title, so...
Yeah.
What
you
about
love all the Zelda games.
what
so
about a
you play them.
standalone Linkle game?
Oh god.
I'd buy it. As long as she was 18.
And not 19?
I'm just kidding. I'd probably be a good game. As long as Linkle doesn't replace Link, I will buy it.
Okay.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to add before you finish up?
I do not.
Okay.
fine.
Awesome. Well, thanks so
Tune
much.
in next week for the downloadable content of this podcast.
Yeah, we're not giving it for free.
You have to pay $10 to get access.
No, but thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to more because we do give things for free, and it's going to keep coming.
And comment below
mostly because we have to.
Yeah. But comment below what you think about DLC. Are there games that you've liked with it, games that you've hated with it? Let us know your thoughts.
All right. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye.